Welcome everybody. My name is Patricia and this is Read the Bible Challenge. So I'm here to read the Word of God with you and I hope you're ready to dive into the Word of God. But before I start, I want to read the book of John, chapter 15, verse 5 to 10. Because yesterday when I was talking to Zion, he referred that chapter and those verses, and I read it by myself yesterday, but I wanted to read it again for you guys before I read the chapters that I'm gonna read today. And hi, I see you there. I don't know who you are, but I'm not starting. I'm just gonna read John 15 verse 5 to 10 because Zion asked. So hi PGA Bishop, how are you? Chapter 15 of the book of John, verse 5 to 10. I am the vine, ye are the branches. He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me ye cannot do nothing. If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch, and is withered, and men gather them and cast them into the fire, and fire are burned. And they are burned. If ye abide in me, and my words abide in you, ye shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done with you. Herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit, so shall ye be my disciples. As the Father had loved me, so have I loved you. Continue ye in my love. If ye keep my commandments, ye shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. So this is actually beautiful. Honestly, I like it. I don't know you, but it's just a reminder for me of the love of Christ for me and the importance of me to be always with him. Always go back, pray, talk to him, trust in his ways. Hi April Star. Hi, is it Demon Mahalover? I don't know how to say your name, but yeah. So yesterday we read the book of Nehemiah, chapter 11, 12, and 13. Blake Gunner, can you put your hand on the camera for what is that supposed to mean? I don't understand what you're asking. Chapter 11. Okay, so yesterday when we read chapter 11, 12, and 13, that's what is the overview. Like, this is the overview of what we read yesterday. Chapter 11. This chapter talks about the resettlement of Jerusalem. Resettlement of Jerusalem. It lists the leaders and the people who lived in Jerusalem and the surrounding villages. The chapter emphasizes the importance of repopulating the city to ensure its security and to fulfill God's purpose for the community. On chapter 12, this chapter describes the dedication of the wall of Jerusalem. It includes a list of the priests and the Levites who helped with the dedication. The chapter highlights the celebration and the joy of the people as they worshiped God and acknowledged his faithfulness. Chapter 13. This chapter recounts the reforms Nehemiah made after returning to Jerusalem. It covers issues like the improper use of the temple, violations of the Sabbath, and mixed marriages. Nehemiah takes action to restore proper worship and adherence to God's law among the people. And this is what I have from the previous chapters. So today we will continue with the book of Nehemiah. Actually, today we are reading the book of Esther. I forgot about that because Nehemiah only has 13 chapters, and we finished. So I'm excited. Today we're reading the book of Esther. I don't know about you, but I am excited about this book. I hope I'm gonna learn more than I already know. And literally, I pray that I remove all the knowledge that I already have so God can talk to me directly and I don't refer back to what I already know. I don't want to be blinded with the knowledge that I already have from the story. I hope you feel the same. But Bob Brown, hi, thank you for this. Thank the Lord for using me. Okay, the book of Esther. I don't know why I say Esther, but her name is Esther. Chapter 1. Now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus. This is Ahasuerus, which reigned from India even unto Ethiopia over 120 provinces. That in those days, when the king Ahasuerus sat on the throne of the kingdom, which was in Shushan, the palace, in the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and his servants, the power of Persia and Media, the nobles and princes of the province, being before him. When he showed the riches of his glorious kingdom and the honor of his excellent majesty many days, even 180 days. And when these days were expired, the king made a feast unto all the people that were present in Shushan the palace, both unto great and small, 7 days in the court of the garden of the king's palace, where were white, green, and blue hangings fastened with cords of fine line, and purple to silver rings and pillars of marble. The beds were of gold and silver, upon a pavement of red and blue and white and black marble. And they gave them drink in vessels of gold, the vessels being diverse one from another, and royal wine in abundance according to the state of the king. And the drinking was according to the law, none did compel, for so the king had appointed to all the officers of his house that they should do according to every man's pleasure. Also, Vashti, the queen, made a feast for the women in the royal house which belonged to the king Ahasuerus. On the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Mehuman, Biztha, Harbona, Bigtha, and Abagtha, Zethar, and Carcass, the 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Ahasuerus the king, to bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal, to show the people and the princess her beauty, for she was fair to look on. But the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains. Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him. Then the king said to the wise men, which knew the times, for so as the king's manner toward all that knew law and judgment. And the next unto him was Karshena, Shethar, Admatha, Tarshish, Meres, Marsena, and Memucan, the 7 princes of Persia and Media, which saw the king's face, and which sat the first in the kingdom. What shall we do unto the queen Vashti according to the law? Because she hath not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus by the chamberlains. And Memucan answered before the king and the princess, Vashti the queen had not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes and to all the people that are in all the province of the king Ahasuerus. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husband in their eyes, when it shall be reported. The king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti, the queen, to be brought in before him, but she came not. Likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes, which have heard of the deed of the queen. Thus shall there arise too much contempt and worth. If it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the laws of the Persians and the Medes, that it be not altered, that Vashti came no more before King Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal state unto another that is better than she. And when the king's decree which he shall make shall be published throughout all his empire, for it is great, all the wives shall give their husbands honor, both to great and small. And the saying pleased the king and the princes. And the king did according to the word of Memucan. For the for he sent letters into all the king's provinces, into every province according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language, that every man should bear rule in his own house, and that it should be published according to the language of every people. Chapter 2. After these things, when the word of King Ahasuerus was appeased, he remembered Vashti and what she had done and what was decreed against her. Then then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, Let there be fair young virgins sought for the king, and let the king appoint officers in all the provinces of his kingdom, that they may gather together all the fair young virgins unto Shushan the palace, to the house of the women, unto custody of each the king's chamberlain, keeper of the women, and let their things for purification be given them, and let the maid which pleased the king, the queen, instead of Vashti. Let me read this part again. Verse 4. And let the maiden which pleaseth the king be queen instead of Vashti. And the thing pleased the king, and he did so. Now in Shushan the palace there was a certain Jew, whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jair, the son of Shimei, the son of Kish, a Benjamite, who had been carried away from Jerusalem with the captivity which had been carried away with Jeconiah king of Judah, whom Nebuchadnezzar the king of Babylon had carried away. And he brought as Hadassah, that is Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother, and the maid was fair and beautiful, whom Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter. So it came to pass, when the kings commanded, and his decree was heard, and when many maidens were gathered together unto Shushan the palace, to the custody of Hegai, that Esther was brought also unto the king's house, to the custody of Hegai, keeper of the women. And the maiden pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him, and he speedily gave her her things for purification, with such as belonged to her. And 7 maidens, which were meet to be given her, out of the king's house, and he preferred her and her maids onto the best place of the house of the woman. Esther had not showed her people nor her kindred, for Mordecai had sh- had charged her that she should not show it. And Mordecai walked every day before the court of the woman's house to know how Esther did and what should become of her. Now, when every maid's turn, turn was come to go into the king Ahasuerus, after that she had been 12 months, according to the manner of the woman, for so were the days of their purification accomplished, to wit 6 months with oil of myrrh, and 6 months with sweet odor, and with other things for the purification of the woman. Then thus come every maiden unto the king, whatsoever she desired was given her to go with her out of the house of the woman unto the king's house. In the evening, the in the evening she went, and on the morrow she returned into the second house of the woman, to the custody of Shaashgaz, the king's chamberlain, which kept the concubines. She came into the king no more, except the king delighted in her, and that she were called by name. Now, when the turn of Esther, the daughter of Abihail, the uncle of Mordecai, who had taken her for his daughter, was come to go in unto the king, she required nothing but what Haggai, the king's chamberlain, the keeper of the woman, appointed. And Esther obtained favor in the sight of all them that looked upon her. So Esther was taken unto King Ahasuerus into his house royal in the 10th month, which is the month Tebeth, in the 7th year of his reign. And the king loved Esther above all the women, and she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head, and made her queen instead of Vashti. Then the king made a great feast unto all his princes and his servants, even Esther's feast. And he made a release to the provinces, and gave gifts according to the state of the king. And when the virgins were gathered together the second time, then Mordecai sat in the king's gate. Esther had not yet showed her kindred nor her people, as Mordecai had charged her. For Esther did the commandment of Mordecai, like as when she was brought up with him. In those days, while Mordecai sat in the king's gate, two of the king's chamberlains, Begat and Teresh, of those which kept the door, were worth and sought to lay hand on the king Ahasuerus. And the king was known to Mordecai, who told it unto Esther the queen, and Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name. And when inquisition was made for the matter, it was found out. Therefore they were both hanged on a tree, and it was written in the book of the Chronicles before the king. Chapter 3. After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, and advanced him, and set his seat above all the princes that were with him. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence. Then the king's servants which were in the king's gate said unto Mordecai, Why transgressed thou the king's commandment? Now it came to pass, when they spoke daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matter would stand, for he had told them that he was a Jew. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath, and he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had showed him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai. In the first month, that is the month of Nisan, in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus, they cast pour, that is, the lot, before Haman from day to day, and from month to month, to 12th month, that is the month of Adar. And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, There is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom, and their laws are diverse from all people. Neither keep they the king's laws. Therefore it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed, and I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have the charge of the business, to bring it into the king's treasuries. And the king took his ring from his hand and gave it unto Haman, for into Haman the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, the Jewish enemy. And the king said unto Haman, The silver is given to thee, the people also, to do with them as it seemeth good to thee. Then were the king's scribes called on the 13th day of the first month, and there was written according to all that Haman had commanded unto the king's lieutenants and to the governors that were over every province, and to the rulers of every people of every province, according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language. In the name of King Ahasuerus was it written, and sealed with the king's ring. And the letter were sent by posts into all the king's provinces, to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Jews, both young and old, little children and women, in one day, even upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month Adar, and to take the spoil of them for a prey. The copy of the reading for a commandment to be given in every province was published unto all people, that they should be ready against that day. The post went out, being hasted by the king's commandment, and the decree was given into Shushan the palace. And the king and Haman sat down to drink, but the city Shushan was perplexed. And this is the last verse of today. Tomorrow we will continue with chapter 4, 5, and 6. Yep. So, honestly, I didn't know that the reason why Esther became the queen was because the previous queen was kind of like disobedient. I didn't know that. But anyway, thank you so much for listening. I hope you are reading the Word of God as well. Please let me know which chapter are you reading. Are you reading the book of Esther as well with me, or are you reading a different chapter? I know it's not relevant, but I would like to know. And I hoped to see Zion, but he's not here. But if you see this, I'm saying hi to you. And I want to say goodbye. I'm going to be here tomorrow to read chapter 4, 5, and 6. And my take away from this chapter is be obedient, because you don't know what God can take from you just because you decided to not obey. So be obedient to the word of God. Be obedient to those above you. Be obedient. You won't lose anything from it. And good night. Don't forget to pray before you sleep and read the word of God. Oh, West Coast BBW Kennels. You're reading the book of Proverbs. That's good. Thank you so much for saying that. It means a lot though. It's good to know that people are. Sometimes nobody tells you that, and you never know until someone like you say something about it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. But it's time to say goodbye. Thank you so much. I'm gonna see you tomorrow. Wes. I'm gonna call you Wes.